Hi guys. So I wanted to come on here and kind of give an update because there's just a lot of stuff. I don't really update as regularly as I probably should, but there's just not always something new to report. So anyway, you guys have supported me so much and been so much a part of my journey, and you guys are the only reason I'm able to get the treatment that I'm getting now. It's just time for you guys to have your update. So I am in case you're not entirely up to date with this yet. I have been working with Dysphagia Duo is what they're called. We call them the twins. Um, their names are Stephanie and Catherine, or Kat. And Stephanie is a speech language pathologist, and she is just phenomenal at her job, like 30 plus years in her profession. And she's actually from Louisiana, which I think is really fun. And a nutritionist, Kat, and she has, I want to say 20 plus years experience, but I might be lying with that. But she's also extremely, extremely knowledgeable in her field. Um, so they over time were getting me back up to calories. So for a while I was not tolerating a lot of things, and because I was only on one item at a time, my body at some point freaked out using just the one thing. And moral of the story, so to speak, I was only able to get in like 300 calories because I was only able to drink juice. I wasn't tolerating anything again. So I started working with them, and they helped me overcome that hump that I had found myself in and helped me safely get back up to calories. And so I want to say 2 months now, I've been at a between 1,300 calories to 1,600 calories. It fluctuates slightly because of the different goals that I have um, at certain times, but I'm pretty consistently at 1,500 calories, and it's been like that for at least a month. So I'm now finally putting on weight again. When I started working with them, I was at 77 pounds, and I wasn't able to get past that because I was just like doing the insurers and that sort of thing. Um, and then I got up to 83 pounds. It was almost 84. But I'm fluctuating around 83 right now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it started becoming a pound a week, which is a really, really, really big deal. That's the ideal goal that you want to be gaining. Um, in some for someone in my particular scenario, a different nurse even explained to me, if you gain weight too quickly, you actually put stress on your heart, and it's dangerous. So gaining a pound a week is the sweet spot, and it's the ideal scenario. My goal weight is 120, and so my nutritionist said that she sees me getting there in a year, just because of the pace that I'm at. So doing good with all of that. Now I am building up on the textures. So I'm on a liquid diet. I do Kate Farms and Owen plant protein and Glucerna, and a couple juices, different types of juices, and bone broth. And then an electrolyte drink to make sure that I'm getting all the stuff that I need. And it's more calories. So and they're all super, like, I still don't like to do added sugar. I still don't like to do a lot of processed stuff besides what I can help, like the Glucerna has some processed stuff in it. I still try to be very mindful about what I'm putting into my body, but there's a whole bigger conversation going on around that. So if you're one of those people who are really nitpicky about it, I'm sorry. This is my plan and it's working, so I'm gonna stick with it. Now, part of me getting better is adding in textures slowly. So as I am doing swallowing exercises that my speech language pathologist gave me, I am building up on purees. So my body is very used to a limited amount of things in my diet. So I'm only eating about like, well, I say eating, I'm only getting in about like 10 different things at the most, which for a human, that's like nothing, because we are supposed to be having, like, even if you were only on a carnivore diet or only on a fruit diet or only on, whatever is trending at the time, um, even if you're on a specific diet, you should still have a lot of variety to choose from. It's a good thing. My body does not have nearly enough variety, and so part of getting used to things again is trying a bunch of different stuff in small amounts and then seeing how I react to it and then letting my body get adjusted to it. Because even things like sugar, even things like just regular table salt, or pink Himalayan salt, it doesn't matter how high quality or low quality it is, whatever new thing is being introduced into my system, my body doesn't know what to do with it because it doesn't have to tolerate it anymore. It's just like whenever you're introducing new foods to a baby, you're slowly giving them stuff over time and introducing it into their system. It's not because they're allergic to it. It's not because it's dangerous. It's not, it's nothing of that sort. It's just because they aren't used to it. They don't have to process it. And so they have to figure out what to do with all this new information that you're giving your body. So that's where we're at on that front. I'm working in variety. I'm sorry. My dogs don't like it whenever people pull up in our driveway. So I'm working on getting the amount of purees up more. And it is challenging because sometimes it goes into like my nose, for example. And so I had to incorporate exercises to stop that from happening. And so I'm going to go into all the exercises more in depth as well. So the different exercises that she has me doing, the first one I started with is the g and k sound. So basically what's happening with my swallowing, nutrition and swallowing go hand in hand because you need your muscles to swallow. And we don't really think about it like that because they're not like bulking muscles, and swallowing is just like a reflex, right? It's a primitive reflex, and so we don't ever have to think about it. Whenever stuff goes wrong, you have to start focusing on those things that you've never had to before. And so what's happened is because I've had to compensate so much with what's been happening, my muscles got discoordinated. So for a proper swallow, everything has to come together at exactly the right time. There are all these different little pieces happening, and if they don't happen at exactly the right time, then it goes in places it's not supposed to, and it gets stuck, and stuff happens. And so by doing this g k sound, I'm helping my tongue hit the roof of my mouth in order to do a proper swallow, and it's helping coordinate those muscles properly. I also have a Masako maneuver, which is where you stick your tongue out in between your teeth, you hold down and you try to swallow, and it helps bring the back of your pharynx toward your tongue, and it helps build that muscle. It's kind of like pull-ups for your pharynx. I also have like some chin tucks where I put like a stress ball under my chin and I kind of do a couple like crunches, I guess, is how I think of them. And it's to help build all those muscles in that area as well. I do an M and N sound. And so these sounds go through the nasal cavity, and whenever you swallow, you have like this little muscle type thing that blocks it so that way food doesn't go into your nose. So like if you're laughing, it's not closing properly. And so that's why sometimes like you'll have milk or something come out of your nose, right? So because the flap for my nose is not closing like it should be, stuff is going in there. And so by doing this M in sound, and I have a couple other exercises like blowing bubbles and blowing through a straw and trying to make a napkin move. By doing these things, I'm making that muscle close and reminding it to do its job, essentially. Another big part of the exercises that I'm doing is meditating. So meditating is a big part of what I'm going through because so much of it is related to my anxiety. And even some of the food reactions that I have are tightly around my anxiety. So like I've had so many different allergic reactions and so many different different just different stuff happening. I've gotten very used to only having a select number of foods. And so every time I try something new, I don't think that I'm anxious, but I feel anxious. And so my body expresses it. So sometimes it'll be like little hives that itch a little bit, and sometimes it's tingling, and sometimes it's, it's just other stuff. And sometimes it's just my body getting used to a new thing, and sometimes it's just a different flavor of the same thing. And it's still like my brain just doesn't feel safe. And because it's change, it's different. And so it's trying to figure out what to do with it all. Um, so that's kind of the main stuff that's been going on. Now I also talked to the twins about some other stuff that I've been having with my health. Um, I was listening to a holistic dentist talking about root canals, and she said even if you get a root canal done and you remove that initial nerve, the infection can still go to these neighboring nerves and they will sit there. So you have to actually remove the whole tooth in order for it to clear up. And there will even be pockets of like drainage that it will create in order to get rid of that stuff. And anyway, so I went to the dentist and I had to get some work done. So I'm gonna start pulling teeth and getting stuff taken care of. And while I was telling them that I think that a lot of the soft palate inflammation that I've been feeling and that mucus feeling that I've been having, um, they were very, very enthusiastic that I am on the right track with that and that it will benefit it. And we were both very clear with each other. Like, we don't think that, my swallowing will not improve overnight because of it, but that inflammation that's happening there will make a big difference in me overcoming this. And they were just very, very, very over the moon about the whole trajectory of my treatment and where I'm going. They were just overwhelmingly supportive and enthusiastic about everything. So that's the bulk of what's been going on. I know sometimes people ask me like, how are you doing? And all the stuff. And there are some days where I'm just so in my own head about it where I'm like, I know what's going on, but I have a feeling about where how I'm doing. And so it's hard to know how to answer because my progress shows that I'm doing good. I'm gaining weight and I'm getting new stuff in and I'm trying new textures and my muscles are starting to want to work. I'm having more energy than I used to. Good things are happening, but my feelings about what's happening are different. And because I'm disappointed in myself that I'm not farther, or I'm disappointed in myself that I'm not doing more. I'm disappointed. Like, there's just all these different feelings about it. And so when someone asks me how I'm doing and how it's going, I have such a hard time answering this question. And it's not because of them, it's because of all the stuff going on in my head. So, yes, I am slowly getting better and I keep getting cautious about it because there have been so many times where I would be doing really well and then I would have a backslide and it would be an awful backslide and it would be terrifying. So I get cautious about being overly excited about it because I never know when the backslide's going to happen. But that's part of the work that the anxiety is part of, and part of the requirements of working with them. I shouldn't say requirements of working with them, but part of their treatment plan, it was for me to go to a therapist. And that's part of what I've been doing in my therapy is making sure that I'm focusing on the right parts of my treatment and the success, and that I'm not trapped in this black or white thinking. Every time something goes wrong, it doesn't mean that I'm failing. There's just a much bigger picture going on. So, all this to say that things are going well. It's just hard. It's complicated and it's going to take some time. And I really can't ask for more. That I'm really grateful that I've been allowed to have this treatment and that every time something hard happens, I have so much support. And somehow it works out. It's so crazy how he works in our lives that way, how Abba just works. I will truly be so stumped and I will be like, this is it. This is it. I'm screwed. And I'm gonna have to start over. And I'm gonna, or just the worst case scenario, I'm gonna have to go have surgery. I'm gonna have to whatever it is. And it works out. And there's always an answer. So that's the update If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And um, if you think of me and you want to send me stuff, I love when people do this. It's just the coolest thing in the world. If you think of me and you want to send me stuff, I love that. I love that people who I don't even talk to sometimes just send me stuff because they think of me. I love it. And I'm so thankful for you guys. So anyway,